La PS, Chinti PTV. We got enough Tanga one inside Sierra Leone, like a big quantity. We breeze not a shit.
We nation as a country, Sierra Leone. And we will look at that video there and form the basis of the thing that we're going to talk about today. Now, it says in most cases, these parastatals get people where they be appointed, they will basically not get any background in waiting and they go do they. The only favor where they get now the fact that they either carry a political party card or then serve in a team of campaigners for the existing government in power. But let me not say everything. Let's watch the video. It's long, it's 10 minutes. But if you watch it, you will see exactly institutions or state-owned enterprises will be mentioned and how then they, if you don't follow, what's in the happen at the country and see exactly what's in the state. And we will talk about, these things today inside the program. So you should begin to prepare your thoughts, any questions and comments and share them with we live on the AYV Facebook pages. You can also make your comments right there. We did live on radio as well, channel 101.7, and we did on all the AYV channels and in fact also on DSTV. So let's take this video quickly and we'll be right back for the thoughts of the panelists who we get in the studio today.
Like many developing countries, there is a strong belief in Sierra Leone that the solution to our dire poverty comes from abroad. And so from healthcare to education, down to governing ourselves, we depend on external aid for everything and are failing to build capable institutions to manage our economy and our welfare. In this documentary, we ask, what are our state-owned enterprises and parastatals doing with the trillions of leones they receive for the welfare of Sierra Leoneans? We ask this question because before we head off to the IMF and the World Bank for funds to buy books and drugs for us, it is useful to know why our state enterprises and parastatals fail to create wealth, jobs, and services, and how to stop that failure. We know that government is currently reviewing the state-owned enterprises law, and so we dip in that debate. But first, let us look at state-owned enterprises and parastatals at a glance.
The Road Transport Corporation, which has received over 350 buses from both SLPP and APC over the last 20 years, has never replenished its fleets using its own resources, even though we pay millions of leones in transport fares every day.
In fact, 80 mystery buses procured in 2014 disappeared in 3 years. At the budget hearing a few years ago, this Sierra Leone State Lottery, Lotto, declared that the company's account was in red for 8 years running, but its managers were still paid hefty salaries. Similarly, this institution, Seratel, once the only gateway we communicate with the outside world, and supposedly the highest source of revenue for government years back, is dead. Seratel cannot compete with private telephone operators. Successive governments have consigned Seratel into a $20 million debt, with hundreds of its idle staff now going on regular strike for backlog pay.
This man never told me salary 5 months. No.
This national insurance company, mother of all insurance companies 20 years ago, has become the mother of all failures. By 2018, NIC has almost been dwarfed into non-existence by private insurance company Ritzcorp. By 2021, NIC's liabilities had reached 7 billion yuans. Even these state-owned banks, Sierra Leone Commercial Bank, Rokel Commercial Bank, went broke in 2015 and were only bailed out by the state-owned Social Security Scheme, NASIT.
Like state-owned enterprises, parastatals are also a source of waste and debt. But what is more troubling is the impunity that go with the waste.
By 2018, the previous government had spent over $500 million on electricity and still left Sierra Leone in darkness.
For the past 5 years, President Bill has spent additional millions of United States dollars for the provision of electricity to the car power ship. This brings the total amount spent for the provision of electricity for the past 15 years to 985 million United States dollar. This amount is enough for the country to have its own car powership through special financing arrangements. But EDSA under APC and SLPP, up to now, we have still not yet assured of lights.
Same here in NASIT. Since its establishment in 2004, NASIT has collected tens of trillions of leons. Many of its prime investments, from Kibima Hotel, West Africa Holdings, Sarah Blocks, are either struggling or have collapsed.
Because state-owned enterprises and parastatals operate in a zero fiscal discipline environment, they've made widespread poverty part of our collective memory and our reality. So it's time to ask, why are these enterprises failing?
Experts offer three explanations for this.
There is no real commitment of privatizing these entities or ensuring efficiency of these parastatals.
Since 2004, the so-called privatization has merely been a scheme benefiting a few individuals in many ways. It gives fat salaries to people politically connected. Salaries of the top executives of the National Privatization Commission, state enterprises and parastatals can sometimes be 10 times higher than a senior civil servant supervising them.
They are underhand games at any time they are selling or leasing assets of state-owned enterprises.
Privatizing the Sierra Leone Produce Marketing Board, SLPMB, in 2010 was a mere ploy to sell the most valuable asset belonging to the company. Once the assets were sold or leased to some business people, government went on to form a new company for exporting cocoa and coffee, using the remaining less valuable properties, mainly the stores in the interior of the country. The racket was so bad that SLPMB's warehouse at Deepwater Key in Freetown was leased to a private cocoa and coffee exporter, while the state company went on to rent a small store in the same vicinity of the port. The racket left SLPMB as one of the least cocoa and coffee exporters in Sierra Leone.
These state-owned enterprises are a reliable source of secretly financing politics.
When these two banks collapsed in 2014, 70% of their bad debtors were either politicians, government officials, or businesses affiliated with politicians. State enterprises and parastatals fail because they operate in a high corruption risk environment.
The justification for privatizing the functions of the state and the creation of parastatals is that SOEs are seen as more capable institutions than a weak and corrupt state. But what we fail to realize is that when states are weak and corrupt, that character can bleed into the very language and business of every facet of society, including the private sector and NGOs.
The fact that by 2013, Transparency International had ranked Sierra Leone as the highest in the world for bribery, and in that same year, Afrobarometer survey had put business executives second only to the police for corruption, explains why the failure of almost all state-owned enterprises and parastatals did not occur by accident. And the Sierra Leone Chamber of Commerce is largely silent, even when corruption raises the risk and the cost of business operations.
Bribery by business executives for contracts is not uncommon.
So the lack of a result-based and merit-based management system is the biggest obstacle to the performance and success of state-owned enterprises and parastatals. Parastatals and state-owned enterprises are very lucrative, and that makes them an important political target for politicians and their allies.
When political compensation takes preeminence in appointment, institutions head for complete failure.
Under both SLPP and the APC, the National Privatization Commission is always headed by persons with high standing within the ruling party, and not necessarily people with track record to deliver results in the private sector.
I was one of the signatories for the contract, and I supervised.
Unfortunately, there are no publicly defined results for these state-owned enterprises and parastatals. For example, how are the CEOs recruited? How are they promoted? Who assesses them? What is their performance benchmark. All of these are not clarified, and this, I think, is one of the biggest challenges that confront them.
And because attaining these positions is part of the wider system of compensating political support, there has been little incentive to undertake difficult reforms to block the waste. We cannot continue like this. We cannot continue to protect failure in discipline and debt in our institutions and expect other countries to feed us and heal our sick. 20 years after the rebel war has ended, the failure of state enterprises and parastatals have trapped us in huge domestic debt. So here are 3 things we can do. Number 1, let us use the upcoming state enterprise bill to stop all forms of state enterprise and parastatal-induced debts. Number 2, government should establish clear measures and timelines to put state enterprises and parastatals on the road to profit-making. Number 3, when we say we want to promote private sector-led growth, we should mean it. The road to building a more competitive economy for Sierra Leone should go via a vibrant private sector and a more accountable public sector. And given the nature of our politics, we need an independent agency for the promotion, protection, and development of open and more transparent competition. And although SLPP, as the party in power, should take leadership in making state enterprises and parastatals efficient, the APC too, be they in opposition or a ruling party, have the shared obligation to adopt the institutional practices that will check the rot and the debt in state enterprises.
Now, these, startling beats we come up from this video put together must make you feel very sick. The fact that these institutions don't feel woefully, and they seem to put burden on even the meager resources now we are available to government. But gentlemen, welcome back. Rashid, last start off with you. And also, from Andrew and Charles, I'll come to them and ask a question like, waiting in from this. Why are we doing this? But your first thought when you see and watch this video and the revelations there, so of the thing that way, perhaps a lot of viewers and the seeing here for the first time today. What's your first thought?
Thank you very much, Mr. Conte. It hurts, to be honest. It's shocking, and you will see the reason why we are where we are today, with mass poverty, people they're almost starved. State-owned enterprises, they're supposed for run efficiently and effectively, just like any other private sector owned company. In my own company, I choose the best for run my company. But when they go look at political patronage, they look at who that gets card for go run an institution, what they dictate the lives of people them, to be honest, is sad and sickening. To me, it is like institutional inefficiencies. When you look at the 60s, the early 70s, when you get successful companies like the NDMC, you get the Delco, then they run effectively, efficiently. And I even do research on Guma Valley. Guma Valley was profitable up to the 70s. They do really well. Not until when we begin to get politicians and begin to run, especially failed politicians, and begin to run their institutions there. So then we start to begin to get disaster. But it's sad, it's sickening. And to me, I will indict both parties, the APC and the SFPP, that they take me to where we are today.
Yes, because I think one bad thing the way Abubakar from BAN mentioned, that the fact say in 15 years we've spent $985 million on electricity, and the sector is still as epileptic as it is, erratic as it is. you still get place there is still a struggle for get access to electricity. $985 million. That could have given us some good energy set up for power the Western area alone.
Absolutely. It's really sad. If you see the amount of funds when they don't invest in Guma Valley, for example, in the last 10, 15 years, with and up to today, we get nearly 40% waste, and nobody knows to take action on that. If you see Usai, a new telecommunication company, they come, Saratel again gateway, Saratel they feed them, and they come, it beat Saratel. It's sad. It's really, really sad. And you get people them who they not pay for over 5-6 years, then they serve. You get people them who then they work, they know they pay them. You get some of we they pay with tax system, and then we hard and taxes there who they pay, then they use for feed them state-owned enterprises there. So and they're not able for check and balance them. To me, the indictment itself starts from the oversight committee from parliament. To be honest, because if then people then they come with budgets them year in year out, then they show failures, then they show say they know they run them here efficiently, and you guys don't ask questions. To be honest, you also, to be honest, now all not accomplished to these failures.
Wow. I'll come back to you, but Andrew and Charles, let me talk about why. I mean, on I released this video, IGR released this video this week, and let's talk about why on our title the gear and the title we get to for look at the tragedies of politics and how it don't affect the state-owned enterprises and parastatals. Why IGI decide to do that?
Thank you very much. Before I go into that, let's just correct a few things, and we'll look the video back. We say there were some little mistakes. I just want to correct them. NASIT actually started in 2002, not 2004. And Seratel debt, not to 20 million, is actually $50 million. So we just need to update that. So NASIT and Seratel debt, the last time we'll check the records back, because when somebody watch this video, he say, no, we need to update that information. They send document them to we. So we need to update them. There is no more time for us to do this. But John, you asked a pointed question. Why we name and strategies of tragedies of politics? Tragedy means like something we really end bad. Something really bad. And how politics, they make things they end really bad. Tragedy. So then when somebody watch this, say, why you call them tragedy? Die, they say, no, not to die. But institutions, they actually die, not to Motorman die. And then institution where they die.
But Andrew, technically death did it. Because if SLPMB, for instance,
yes.
Police and Marketing Board, never forget the thing, they feed the people.
Yes.
Deaths, they come from hunger.
Yes. And so, you know what? And I want to say this to me, APC and SLPP brothers and sisters. This is not for indict anybody. This is not for look back in the last 20 years, for see the decisions they all don't take. How then decisions they not help we and not even help them. Because on day, politicians, they always think about the next election. When you think about the next election too much, you need to take decisions for salvage the next generation. So you don't say now, then they always talk about how you they support, how you they do something for salvage your election, it actually perish everybody. And what do they do for salvage your election? Say, no, then people are, I don't want for sound ungrateful. Now they don't support me for the election. How go plot the under. It's all well and good. Developed countries, they don't really think about how do you do, they call them back pass. How you they make sure, say, the one that we don't support you, how you they settle them. You they settle them in a way where, they punish society and they punish them. There's nothing wrong if I don't win election, the one way they support me. I'm not going to leave them stranded, but you get to look at how you align the interest to the broader interest of the country. So now we name this tragedies of politics, and the strap line are the debt of state-owned enterprises. This now is a series of IGL don't launch, and we get to look at other topics, how politics they actually make how politics they affect we. For those we don't read You know, I get somebody who I really admire away na James Robinson. James don't write some work here and there as a Moglu. They don't do some work where they call Why Nations Fail. So then took about two things, and I really this video, you know, capture very well. They talk about extractive political institutions and extractive economic institutions. Which are extractive political institutions? Extractive political institutions are the institutions that we need to deliver services, but then they for extract. So now few people them say, law form this group, we capture the state, we extract. And where extractive political institutions then they form extractive economic institutions. Within enemy, contracts will not be open, appointments will not be competitive. All these things when they talk about democracy, because democracy really means level playing field and fair competition. A lot of Sierra Leoneans, they always look at democracy for just me, go to a line or go vote. But within that mean really, the best speaking for get scholarship, if not from Falabai they come out, how they make sure say it competes well, even if na SLPP in a power, would that pick come up both school? If na for go read law for win Harvard, let it go. So that's what democracy is, how they create that fairness. So tragedies of politics, they actually look at how politics they stop we from doing that. If you look back since 2002, where the war ended,
before you get to, I mean, Andrew, is it possible that we would ever get to that point?
We could, because you get a lot of nations we don't go to there. No nation not the way perfect. If you watch Equayu na Southeast Asia, then they talk say today, this company how would they establish? This na state it say this transport company in the next 10 years, we want to see how this they capture the entire Southeast Asia, how it will be the biggest transport hub. And you waiting under me, that state they reduce corruption, and that state they make sure say waiting Rashid they talk about the boss person will qualify. It doesn't matter whether that person they support me or not support me. Nanga for lead down there. We don't see inside Rwanda where Kagame, where the campaign, it make one statement. It look one district, it say I go put health center there. It say I go put hospital in that district. When the man win election, now he advisor they tell and say, he say, look your agenda now for reduce infant maternal mortality. He say, but that promise that if you fulfill them, you don't go succeed by your overall target. So the man he bow. So they are certain, it's not shameful at all for let you campaign, you win election, they actually face the reality. So this video really they try for see how politics they make the decisions so they take. You know, then Southeast Asia, and if you go Dubai, you go you know, Southeast Asia generally, you go Taiwan, you go China, you know why then they take their decision and they take and say, then company here, I wish I treat them just like say na million. So if we not treat companies then like say, this is a state-owned company, if you not treat them like say na you know what will happen? If they just take decisions, say like appoint this person without making the consideration for let you make, you know, the best out of the situation. Now that make, if you watch the video, you see say we raise 3 reasons why then company had a fail. The first reason, we're not committed for privatizing them in the first place. If you look back, when I want expert, Bakar talk extensively. Bakar say, he said then company here, number one, now then just they no more for give jobs to the boys. He said number 2, at any time when they sell the asset, he said Nabokuti they come and watch, where you watch Wataki, we cite Wataki. Inside Wataki, you get SLPMB women they then talk say then they privatize. When they privatize, they just sell some of the assets to one company. When they sell the asset to one company, then go establish the same company back. They call a state-owned company. Where they just use some of the small assets that will be done left, the one in the upline. And then go get small store after they don't sell their own store. And Bakar's sites say, now the way this for letting finance politics, it's really clear. We'll watch where Rokel Commercial Bank, Sierra Leone Commercial Bank, where they go broke inside 2014, 2015. We'll watch that list. We'll do this video. We'll watch the list. 70% of the one that we didn't trust Rokel Commercial Bank and Sierra Leone Commercial Bank. These are state-owned companies. When you do a Sidonic Bank, you need one at Eco Bank. because not a union bank, these are private bank. You run a state-owned bank. So the moment a politician come, he say, no, so let them loan this person here. In fact, if finally you see how the culture been there, somebody there, he go take loan, he not pay the debt, then he come back, he can't take another loan. You know they pay the debt, they can't. If now you really get them bank, then not so you they do.
So I mean the question we big for ask now that I mean waiting the leadership of the institution and they because they appear like the favor will be done to them now forget the appointment for the leadership of the institution and they therefore they cannot be firm and take certain decisions to say I cannot accept this because you are in default already. Why should I provide you with another service or another loan where you can for the bank or another facility where you can ask for the bank? So because it appears like the leadership of the institution then they get favors and reach to side and they in terms of their appointment, they obviously would want to bend to the whims and commands of the political heads.
And in fact, now that make the second and third reasons where Dr. Freddie Mokomokale and Ibrahim Tommy where they lay out in the video, it actually clearly show them. Professor Freddie Mokomokale is say because the environment corrupt, it doesn't matter because the idea what they talk say a lot of privatize, one for privatize because they say the state corrupt. So but Freddie say if that state they corrupt, if you say that corruption they go to NGO and they go to private sector, and so we watch Singapore succeed because they reduce corruption to 5%. So if we not reduce corruption, it doesn't matter what they talk say, law privatize, law create one PIU, program implementation unit, now that same culture. So that's the first reason. The second reason we pointed really from Ibrahim Tommy in say, we don't know the performance target. It's well and good, John, don't get me wrong. If you support me, there's a possibility say I can appoint you because you qualify. But while they appoint you, they support you back for let deliver because they give performance targets. Say, John, in the next 10 years, now this is not the result. If you not achieve it in 2 years, I don't claim your role. I have appointed you. I can change you for another Sierra Leonean late come. So Ibrahim, they say, we don't know the performance target. We don't know how they are being assessed. And we see in the video, you get one political party way in chairman, they actually both say, now we they supervise this. In fact, now we they sign the contract. So that is a tragedy of politics. Pass you get for say, no, this one here, politics, no politics. This person here, he actually able for deliver this. In fact, he only support a political party because he believe in them for saying that the vehicle this will manage the state well. There is nothing wrong for let somebody who support a political party can be part of a state for deliver results. When you watch, you get a story of the Chicago boys, then come study in Chicago, then go Brazil. They plug themselves in different entities. They say with the change here. There's nothing wrong for let people, a group of people come together, say with the change society. That's like a political party. But if somebody there, they misperform, they misbehave, and they will do nothing. They say, no, if I change them, my base go shake and will affect my next election. Now this the causes failure. So all at the time where this enterprises they start 20 years ago, none of them not been get debt. Seratel not been start with $50 million loan, debt. In fact, where I see the documents where I see today, where they see the loan, where then this loan from Exim Bank. Now will not be seeing them at the time where they put this documentary. In fact, sometimes said this $50 million, not to the
It's
only
even
loan
more.
that it's even more. So it's really, really sickening, like how Rashid they say.
Charles, that comes to you. I mean, to what extent you, I mean, this as a public policy analyst, to what extent you contribute to getting these details, this information, for make sure say wait till we see so be brought to public view for like everybody able to see them because it was hidden to a lot of people. I mean, this video now, real expose would show you that these things have been happening. Some might don't mention them, but others obviously because of the one for hide behind being politically neutral, no one for mention anything with all the failure of the institutions there. So don't create. I go through the 2022 2002 National Commission for Privatization Act. I did see portion will be mentioned, but I'll come to that later on. They talk about the efficiency of the institutions that will be created. The act make them clear. But where is the failure? Charles, first let's talk about to what extent, I mean, you unable to get all the information there, so to get other than the people who are unable to talk to, are unable to find out, or you know, no one for reveal all the one, because at the end of the day, there's things that you'll continue to do again. Because when I say this now, just one part now, several other one, and they want to go for
it. Thank you, Mr. Conte. The state of collapse and wretchedness where state-owned enterprises then deeper, not a secret. I mean, imagine for the last 20 years, where you read the national budget, you actually see allocation to national insurance company, you see allocation to Lotto, you see, and you ask yourself, come on, man, we sabi small thing. How is it acceptable that company where for they make profit in the budget? So not a thing where you even go investigate. With man called impunity. Rashid say it's sad, but me is reckless. Like you who's putting them begin for like prompt me attention to some of them thing there. Remember where that Gambian estate developer come can build 5,000 houses. You know, this situation at this country, it indicts several levels. We call them the tragedies of politics, but it also indicts the entrepreneurial culture. How somebody that come on a small Gambia, then they build 5,000 houses in a salon. They don't build estates across West Africa. Then even when the president they sign that document, you know, members say, wait, so from where Salhawk, where Sheki build OAU village, where they build local housing. Salhawk for 30, 40 years not build one house. This man they come on Gambia, they come. How is that acceptable? So not to you know campaign investigative stuff. The recklessness is just Salhawk not build one house from where Sheki build OAU village. Like your example, in the 2000s, where then demonopolizing state telecoms businesses. Now only Salon state monopoly, now in collapse. Gamtel survive. Sogitel survive. Liberia, Lone Star. But how we don't case this so? You can't build houses. You can't run a telephone company. You can't. Your insurance company is broken on. So it indicts not only the politics of things. Man, this is too reckless. And that kind of situation there, you know, then Rollins days where they can just hold all man and bring and kind of say no, this is unacceptable. The bulk of property the way Salon buying in London in the 60s and 70s, now SFPNB money that they use. How you go come for 20 years constantly profit-making institution? Then a government budget. How am I we're supposed to export millions of dollars of cocoa? Then you go put money for them. So in fact, even when we say now for political patronage and this and that, come on, man. If you creatively corrupt, the richer you are, the more you spreadsheet big. These are poor. If I see PNB the spreadsheet back in days, commercial bank now basic mandates and then give Christian Smith basic mandates. Then again, that small office at Walpole Street. Now they take build that massive building, not to government loan. You don't take loan, no side. So we have done it in the past. How come the opposition quiet, the ruling party quiet? In fact, then the good thing for my body with documentary.
Charles, you mentioned political patronage already. That's why then go remain quiet.
But I try for talk say. I don't even know how it benefits them too much. A poor country is a poor country. I don't care how you corrupt. Patronage Ivory Coast, but Ivory Coast they create wealth. The corrupt people in the Ivory Coast and get money passed with 50 10. We just don't have a political class that creates wealth. We get a consumption political class. They don't study how for create wealth. I don't give you this example. How Gambia, the Gambian engineers we can build a QCell. Now from a college they can study engineering.
Now all go school.
Yeah. Then come the state part to them, then create a private company, and then they can open a company as alone. You get with all the assets, you can't do stuff. So not to just but where they appoint the wrong person. By the way, even the focus on this appointment of wrong people it will take my attention away from the plenty other options and way they for make the institutions that are profitable. The key word is profitability, so they make the country wealthy. In fact, they are supposed to provide services and be wealthy. Now we're in a situation where Seattle London, they don't provide wealth, then they consume money, they don't provide services. So you get plenty options, not to just appointment issue. Like you an example, no matter what you do with state-owned banks, by the nature of their existence, saying a state-owned bank, they are prone certain modes of business. It expose you to certain risk. They risk them way Andrew will talk about. Now 2049 Ebola carry this country also 14 banks. Now only 2 collapse and all 2 now one government get tamper. Now the nature of the ownership. So Lord just put emphasis on the one that we heard today. Now only one consideration government forgets.
But then that's why the National Commission for Privatization was set up. Andrew.
Well, really, it was set up for a limited time for privatize and left. It not be set up for let it stay. In fact, because it did said that's the problem.
Exactly.
So you did 24 companies, banks, insurance company. The act succeed privatize the one there. In fact, waiting the National Privatization Commission.
You want to mention some for them because I still
oh yes, please.
I have the act in front of me.
Yeah,
Silent Housing Corporation, Salon Silent Police Marketing Board, SLPMV, Mining and General Services Limited, Silent Road Transport Corporation, Silent Postal Services Limited, Sierra National Airlines, Silent Telecommunications Company Limited, Sierra Sierra Leone Airport Authority, National Power Authority, Sierra Leone Ports Authority, Guma Valley, long list, long list, Guma Valley Water Company, Sierra Leone National Shipping Company Limited, National Insurance Company, Okel Commercial Bank, Sierra Leone Roads Authority, Seaboard West Africa, Sierra Leone Daily Mail, National Workshop, Government Printing, Sierra Leone Broadcasting Services. Long list.
No, so that is a big economy. You know why then the important, Charlie, just 1 minute. You know why then the important? In fact, and this really informed why we decide for do tragedies of politics. Right now, Sierra Leone, they do the development planning. If fine for law say, if all of them and they be the work, if fine for law say 30% of this development plan from now on to 2030, or the end the SDGs, get for come up from the state companies. Not to for let you go back, it talks say, how do you finance me? You are meant to be making profits for plowing to development. That money for buy tablets, for buy drugs or buy books them, not to IMF and World Bank, not to other taxpayers them. The money what they raise from with bosses, the money what they raise from with telecoms then, now for put inside we. So they raise this because, and when they raise this normal because not ordinary noise, these are civil society noise. Government they currently review, and so then credit, maybe they don't acknowledge, say, it's a problem. And they currently review this act. So now that make the documentary say, review and with a mind on 3 things. 1, how you for stop the debt. Right now, Sarah tell, nobody able to take them because the debt, where they take $50 million. $50 million. Yeah. So if they review them 1 for stop the debt, with review number 2 for put them on the road to profit, with review number 3 for create the environment for let competitive private sector be. And waiting that they mean you get for reduce the corruption within the state. So when they talk about anti-corruption, with it, people they talk about anti-corruption, they talk about political parties. Anti-corruption, it actually mean for let it reduce, this consideration. Friend in Tokam, he say the for let business executive then give corruption, they pay bribes for contract, it's not uncommon. Chamber of Commerce, this is the biggest indictment for them. We cannot continue like this with them.
Charles, I'll take you before they take Rashid. I mean, the list is extensive now. Over 20 SOEs, over 20 parastatals. Imagine the revenue that could be generated from all of the one and for government. Rather, like you say, they are still in a list of institutions where they receive subventions, still budget from government.
Yeah. And the reality is that we get plenty options for deal with this situation, but you just get focused and decide say, no, this thing get for stop. This thing get for stop. You get for be decisive. Now because we blame politics for all of this, but because the politicians themselves they left things in the hands of the bureaucrats. The bureaucrats and when they design solutions, economic solutions, then they always make sure say they get what to call residual power, so they will determine certain advantages. They're not going to ever fully privatize some of the institutions there because they wait for the opportunity for let one lease contract expire, then they take over that lease contract and make money out of them. Now the political leadership now for talk say, me, I don't care how we do them. If you go for dissolve them. For God's sake, let me begin to get centers of excellence. Ethiopia don't go through famine. They don't go through wars. One day, Ethiopia Airlines will collapse. That's one of the best airlines in the world. Why Saloma not generate excellence in one sector? Why? If the president today, he decides, he talk to the opposition, say, in 3 years.
You know, now me they ask the question, but I will provide answer to that. You know, it's difficult that a place like Salon, we've never had what you call a national agenda. Where every government would pick up and go on with. Every agenda we meet the other person and said you would kill it. Because you think say it will give you political, it will give you opponent political points.
Wait for address them. Some structures in there, where you alter them, the next person will come, you don't get nothing else for do. I give you an example. If you fully privatize a commercial bank, the risk that comes with state-owned banks, you don't dispense with that day. So you don't care what the other governments they can do.
Exactly.
So some decisions and they, we don't see political decisions and we don't see some leaders, then they take political decisions. Where Turkey, where the Ottoman Empire collapsed, that small space we left, where they build the Turkish state. Now Kemal Atatürk say, Turkey will be a secular state. I don't care how you pray 50 term, how you do this. He said, this is Turkey the agenda. So you can take broad vision stuff. Just talk, say, let one leader just talk, say, I can't, people, they don't do tough decisions. I can't run failed states at institutions, they give them money back. That money they were supposed to use for build hospital, for build this, and for build that. It's not difficult for do, but they don't want for do. In the first place, when you talk, say, we start one agenda, the other person can do this something different. How APC manage privatization and how SLPP manage them across 3 governments from Pakabato now, same. But come on, choose to be different. The Republican, they want kind of power. They don't give money to abortion clinics. They don't give money to the NGOs. That are their own agenda. Choose to be different. Let somebody say, if I will agenda for this, now for stop the rot. Now for stop the, if we don't want to see, not only Salon state lottery collapse. You know how they said odds span gambling? How gambling company collapse? The man,
this take me back to what President Bio been saying during the Terry campaign. There must be huge leakages.
Beyond leakages is about what you determine. I'm glad you mentioned about gambling. When they say gambling, the family don't know how gambling profit is determined. Like when they say now 20 million, 100 million, people they don't play. You want to only buy the tickets. Out of this 100 million, now 5 million no more will they give the winners there. Then they get 95 million. How you going to always get 95 million every month?
And we go back to how to do the advertise. Remember the first thing how to do the advertise? It's winning to the individuals,
profit to the nation.
How not to company collapse?
Then I mean, when I mentioned impunity, Rashid, I mean, Charles mentioned, Andrew mentioned the same thing. He said not to just the action the way they take place, but not how will they be done with impunity as well. Back to state lottery. Gambling company, making profit. Every time you come back and say we won at loss with impunity, and no action has been taken, not one person has been.
It's a tragedy of politics.
Rashid.
In fact, when it comes to state lottery, state lottery, it hurts again. To tell you, the guy Obin Dede, I don't know what is his name, Obin Dede with the APC system. This guy almost gets explicit lifetime job.
he stayed in that position for over 20 years.
Yeah.
And year in, year out, the guy, they failed, they cried losses, but he was still there.
Yeah.
It's really sad. Again, we come back again with what he mean, Andrew in the talk. If them politicians there, so or then leaders there, so now the young company, what not the young papa bill them and left and give them, they were able to treat them without impunity there? No, they were not. But because they feel say this is free for all, this is government, and anything going on, everybody's business is nobody's business. That is the tragedy Andrew they talk about. And it's really sad. Because with my own company, when we don't build, they look at people, they're more efficient, effective way for run my company, give me profits what I want. If you're not able to deliver, I kick you out. But here with the state-owned enterprises, them now Uda gets the biggest microphone, now they get the job, or somebody will so close to the leadership, that then they get their jobs in there. And then the thing what hurts about it is people then they run position will not even get a clue how to run a position in it. And then when you look at the formation of the board, sometimes then they come then put a kangaroo board with somebody who will not get a clue, not know what they do. And then you get a secretary, what they all what they care about is the per diems and then the sitting fees. They know they even ask questions. And sometimes even they want to ask questions, they don't even know what to ask. You get the failures then you go parliament, would they expect the parliament go ask questions? Would they supervise them? But again, it's like a revolving it's just a go in and out without
at least parliament foreseeable.
Absolutely.
No, but okay, then why they don't escape the board, they don't escape the management.
Yes, but
come on, this cannot be right. Why would they give money to the wire?
And you look at China, I researched about China, 71% of the big enterprises them is state-owned. Because if you look at, again, Kenya Airways, it's still there, they not fail. You get Ethiopian Airlines, they're still there, they not fail. You go now Cote d'Ivoire, the cocoa company, if you see my brother, it's about a 36-story building. Then they export 6 billion worth of cocoa every year. Here, so we want it collapse. The Sierra Leone Produce Marketing Board collapsed completely. It got dysfunctional for over 36 years. When they form them again, they form a small one, a tiny one. And not only that, then they break them up in a way that you get people that now, what they buy the cocoa, the coffee, they use them as loss leader. Because when then they sell goods and so the commodities there, they get so much cash with them pile. And because they need to get foreign exchange for able for go buy back if now rice they want to go buy, then they go around at the villages them for go buy cocoa. But then they look for the ripe cocoa, then they look for the one who meet standards, they don't care about it. All what they want is whatever cocoa day, if even if I go feed dog them, I will send and go. So that gets implications. One again implications on again bringing down the quality of cocoa in the world markets. So anytime we, as I said, salon cocoa, nobody wants it. If they want to buy them, they buy them at crash price. That is one. Two, you deprive the country system for get income. Because if you export good quality cocoa at premium price, of course the revenue will come is huge. But you send cocoa will not meet no standard. Three, then they go force them people in the villages and they for get them cocoa out at whatever cost. Then they wait when things are difficult, then go get them 1 bag rice and say we want 5 bag cocoa. You know, the problem is compounded, but it come back to leadership. To be honest,
it come back to leadership, and the Act, the National Commission for Privatization Act, and mentioned in part 21-22 that the process of divestiture and the guidelines set out in the third schedule for be applied by the commission to the particular public enterprise referred to in the schedule. Now, the one that we list, in order for secure the efficient and profitable operations of these newly divested as well as existing new businesses, the commission shall pursue the establishment and maintenance of a clear, transparent, and fair and legal regulatory framework designed to enhance the competitiveness of all public enterprises and to create a level playing field for which shall ensure all enterprises, whether domestic, foreign, new or old, will benefit from and be subjected to the same laws and regulation. It says, part 2 of that of 22 says, the Commission shall ensure that the public enterprises maintain excellent standards of corporate governance, and the government as shareholder shall be fully informed of the status of operations. Excellence is the word, Andrew.
Excellent standard of corporate governance means you get for set roles, you get for set goals, and that goals is known by everybody in the institution saying that this is the work for. If you not achieve that goal, you
have you seen any from any of them?
No, I don't know. You are a senior journalist. You don't see them.
No, but I've
never seen it.
Rashid, have you seen any?
I've not seen that.
I've not seen it.
Have you seen any?
Well, me actually, I look at the end result, because if you get good corporate governance, it's a way they pass that act. I tell them get reach $2 million debt. Now they get $50 million debt. If they get good corporate governance, they're not for the sudden day. So
no, but I mean, when they talk about this is serious, right?
It is very serious.
So this one, when they talk, when they talk about state-owned enterprises and parastatals, it's a microcosm of how we entire society run. And so when they talk about, we talk about impunity. Impunity for the one they family the way they listen, it means say you do anything above.
Yeah.
Nothing recommended. Nothing recommended because you are connected. So, and what did that mean? Right now, budget approvals and they get what you call budget hearing. If they come back with your budget, they talk to me, I lost so but now 50 million I need, 50 billion I need back. They say now you need, say can't they come back. And waiting bad, and you when they listen to me, you still dance red, you still dance green. You don't care about that. And you know why I know they blame Muna? John Agladi, because he talks to some people and then at the first 10 really they don't confront this information. If you get this information, if they still go dance green red, if they make your neighbor plaba, you need to go hospital. You know well. Because that's the only way this way you forget, the state forget money for solve the problems. So you see say, what I talk say this now in microcosm, the way with justice system they perform. If somebody, when they say impunity, it means something they happen, the police will arrest them. And if the police arrest, it can't that person in a court, in above case. Because somebody the way they talk say, no, that man now man law left him. So when they talk about state-owned enterprise and parastatals, and they always talk about Singapore. Then one day they work because their systems there they work. Then enterprise and parastatals and they work, then they function in an ecosystem of rule of law. I'm glad the way you mentioned about parliament. Parliament, now I see with parliament, they fet Auditor General. Or because the Auditor General in report, now in a parliament, the Bible. Because they had to do research on how all of them when they had to perform, they don't audit them. So when I look to the one they had the recommendation, I saw the ways to Bonnie. I don't see one politician after another. He talks about now your opinion, and you know if you sound on any evidence. So if we not treat then things are better, you know what's not the result? The result not just with company they fall. The result now with citizenship now the world they go down, and what's not they mean we will always continue to rely on other countries them. Where they get the same head like we, they get the same two hands like we. Say, do I want to buy a book for picking them? Where you get company, then they cannot do anything
and
for you.
And we go always there then dictate because
yes.
he who pays the piper calls
of course.
You are giving funds and then you are told to go and subsidy on fuel.
And not get me wrong, yeah. The history clearly laid this. At the time we didn't get the act inside 2002, 2004. We get a certain political culture when have one party. In fact, this same book, Why Nations Fail, it even tell you why Stevens pulled the railway and replaced the railway because he say, I don't want, you know, said the railway in the commot, the railway in the gonna Kailan down to, he said this, at any time they exist, saying they help Albert in support of them. So he pulled the railway. But it doesn't mean successive leaders enough for what they for say this should not be the culture. And then they make this call now today. SLPP under President Bio get a clear opportunity, so for change this trajectory or for change this course, especially at the time now where they get to a new development plan, and especially because we have a government that ran on new direction. When they say new direction, it's not how many things you achieve,
but how you change course from old bad ways to new good ways. So now this really now the strategies of politics they unravel for this conversations.
And you mentioned, I mean, presidential agenda. They talk about creating 500,000 jobs. Over 25 parastatals we can be, privatized. Imagine the amount of jobs. So part 26, I want to go back to this act because it's so clear, it's so vivid, and give you direction as to what needs to be done so that the things then will be done right. Part 26 says the post-divestiture evaluation referred to in subsection 1 of section 25 shall be conducted in the form of public or periodic reports by the Commission on the performance of the divested public enterprise. The reports referred in subsection 1 shall cover number 1, jobs created.
I like the point.
Jobs created. Number 2, investment in new facilities. See, sales. These things will make you sick because because it clearly they show you now why these failures happen, how they happen, and what we need for do now so that they know what happen again. So it's interesting conversation. Sales volume, particularly export sales, PMB. Gentlemen, I mean, I'm just mentioning these things so that we can strengthen the conversation more and get some more points. Charles.
I like how you don't delve into the issue and bring out things that we will be even think about. So now we know, say, in fact, the divestiture program, they get obligations for create jobs.
Yes.
Where we do this documentary, we waiting with the border, we now the debt burden we they place on government and also the money they take from other social services. But look at the other layers of loss where we don't even remember ourselves. The jobs were for the create, the export value were for create. And Rashid make the same point where
investment in new facilities.
Where it's about how we cocoa is standing at the world market, how it go down. Look the implications for foreign exchange earning. If the cocoa alone they bring come $50 million because of a big exporter every year, and at least $40 million they stay out because the man the way they export not need that dollars in there. We see they export them cocoa now they the dollars they left. So you get plenty layers of loss. Where look the jobs where they for don't create. Look the foreign exchange earning we for don't get. Look the value of we export how it for don't increase. If we say like you want a layer of loss, you don't go bring them a NCP. You don't add them over the managerial structure of the institutions there. First, I'm going to say local commercial bank or salon commercial bank, not just the manager and the board. Right now, as it is, you get in them way, then 2 banks and all the other one way that list. They can't do anything without referring to NCP.
But was it meant to be that way, Andrew?
Just check the money we don't spend per NCP alone. Just check the salary for NCP alone. But come on, not to say the NCP salary alone, the administrative fees alone, now an extra layer of expenditure for the waiting. NICB they run without NCP. Lotto they run without NCP. Why go bring some other burden back for just for create jobs for people? If I mean, wait, check.
NCP was just to divest them.
Yes, just divest and go out.
So I don't say Rashid, you want to make a comment, but the part of that section 2026 and it says the impact of government policies and practice on the performance on then divested public enterprise there. So it goes back to not just getting them divested, not just releasing them and say, okay, go function and bring us revenue, create jobs, invest in new, but also waiting government to do for make sure say they want and they show where they no release, say go on your own now. Then policies will they be released, not affect them, but support them for able to create the environment. And first then Rashid.
I believe say people in Talk say government not they do business, but that act they usually talk say we for do business because government need for do business because we trade, you actually use that money they for take care of the people them. So in fact, the first, we don't forget about that first economics where you talk say the factors of production and land labor capital entrepreneurship. The biggest factor now production are government. So government need for no say this year if I profit from this, now so with the share. But over time we don't get the circle, Sierra Leone, almost a circle. The top part of the circle is red, the bottom part of the circle is green. So you don't be say, all written then we will talk about it's being captured by that kind of negative sentiment of the country. Now here I see cleaner. It is difficult for somebody, some of them come here, is sack a cleaner because that cleaner is well connected. See, then if you touch me, they will pull another place. See you. So, you know, all of this happened because Ibrahim talked very well. We don't know the results. We don't know how they assess. And the biggest call they make in this video, if we want to stop them here, one of the first things we will do, now follow actually.
But really, I think there's this act where clearly they show waiting for be done for put them on there, so they hold them foot in a fire until we say, show us what you have done. That's the post-reporting period. If they haven't delivered,
evaluation mechanism.
Exactly. If they haven't delivered, they should go. But are they going? Are they reporting on within the process? They don't be so.
I don't know. I mean, Johnny, you know, is a journalist. I don't know. I mean, and because I don't know now, I could ask them question there. For say if you day, you na lotto. In fact, how you go day, mercury, small mercury. It'll run you out of business. In fact, if finally let government say you get for match up with mercury. I don't want for pull mercury in business on this platform. But if fine for let government go talk, say, this now you target. We don't see countries then, if you go like Birmingham, you get states then, if you're in the UK, where na lottery. I talked to one colleague today, na Boston, Massachusetts. 30-40% of the state budget na lottery, na in the financer. Na only side salon with lottery, they lost.
Yeah.
So we got to take firm decisions. Government don't just talk, say, we don't establish fit salon. And the budget for fit salon now $1.8 billion. Where are you getting it from? Yeah. You get for go for IMF and let your lottery company, the loss enable for you get money for invest in agriculture. I think say this, there is no better call where with a call say no, really, we need to rethink the way we do things.
Yeah. Rashid, you've been quiet for long.
Yes,
I mean,
exactly.
I don't say we need to recall and think a better way of doing things.
But let's just give another big loss for the country they lost. The state-owned enterprises, them, of course, we know, say, they deal with energy, they deal with water, waste management, telecommunication, the banks, them. They want so then get effects with the private sector itself. Because if Goma not able to give me water, they go and need for go get a borehole water, does that make me competitive? Look at electricity. Because EDSA don't almost collapse. Now look at the tariff for they asked for today. Well, how many companies then were able to compete against somebody else in East Africa? So you will see how industrialization itself, and we say the economic development itself is affected because of the state-owned enterprises there. Because by right, they're supposed to be run effectively, efficiently, give we the right price for electricity, for power, will not get blackout, but you will be shocked, say 60 to 70% of the manufacturing companies there. So now generator in the run, my brother. They're running generator day in, day out. I have a factory in Bo, I'm running a generator.
Let's face it, Rashid, that's consistent. You are able to manage it. You know what's happening. If you have a team that's running it, you can come back to them and bug you production, and you say somebody is going to be accountable for affecting production for the day. But would you want to edit and if they shuts down your machine, why is production
when you machine even back up, even go there. I go for what is it now? Body meeting go connect me with a pipe on water. I pay. It take about 2 weeks. They disappeared. It took 2 weeks for them to connect me. When they can connect me, I get water today, I don't get water tomorrow. So I go back to my borehole. It's difficult. So how the country will develop? We don't become so complacent for they just to look for aid. But with the country in population, my brother, if only we able for utilize the resources, then state-owned enterprises that they're going effectively, efficiently. To be honest with you, there is no need for me to go ask for aid to anybody. For 8 million people, with all the resources there,
But it's again, it's just crazy, to be honest. It's crazy. I feel hurt, but especially we want to try for push this country forward with manufacturing, production, processing. How you wait for that? Now government don't say, okay, the flagship program is agriculture and they want to feed the whole country and look for the export potential. Yes, very good. Great idea. Where is the money coming from? You see, because if the state enterprises, they do well, they're not being the sink money there. But already you get for this, continue for the sink money on the state enterprises there. So then you get for do then flagship programs there. So how are you going to square it up? You see, then we already try for produce and manufacture and export. You're not able to compete against the neighbor Ghana because it gets consistent electricity supply, it gets consistent water supply, waste management, they go can collect and farm at a reasonable price. It's difficult. You will see the reason why the private sector is so weak in the country.
I'll come back to my gentleman, the gentleman in the studio. I mean, as they go, plenty of things and they will stumble upon and one for mention now. In one pan, the state-owned and governance policy literature will be done. I mentioned that it will still make we sick because these are figures we bring out. So as of that's 2019, long ago. But if you look at all the figures, then coming forward, they might not increase. SOEs are estimated for, their liability, contingent liability, estimated at $285 million, which is about 6.8% of the gross domestic.
Jesus. That's too huge.
$285 million liability.
That's what they're supposed to be making.
State-owned. And you're looking at me like that. You're shocked, eh? You shocked, eh?
It's shocking.
I mean, so that's why it's important for getting kind of conversation there. So that when you bring them forward, I was asking and waiting at the feedback when this video be released. Is it that people feel so you just want to can go after existing government or go after past government? But these are things that you bring them out. The people of Sierra Leone select and will say, if you are basically going to the polls because you think say red or green, no more, you need to consider anything there, or anything they are not hurt you. You get big
you say this video will not call anybody name.
No.
In fact, so what will they do with planning an IGR for the past 2 years? We'll go to call corruption supply chain. With that corruption supply chain, now waiting they feed into. Waiting they make corruption they will call. I don't see that this country, I don't one day see with all of this way they talk about, if somebody they misbehave, say that, no, I don't go fire them until they misbehave. I don't see they don't publish in the newspaper, say, now this and this don't lost, now this and this somebody don't corrupt. I don't know, John, if you don't see within the sack, I know they see that one day. In fact, you can always talk about corruption when there is a change of government. So now, so with the bang on corruption. In 2007, there was a commission of inquiry. We'll look at the Kabaya administration. In 2018, there was another commission of inquiry. So we say now, let's try to look at the patterns within here they happen. So now we actually delve into the last 20 years. In fact, strategies of politics, all the series they would produce, we actually look at the forms, the patterns we don't think that take place. What we need no more from government and the opposition. In fact, we go on for let us see somebody from the opposition go actually take a private member bill. Say this enough is enough, and they move a motion for let this be. Because this is a political system. And I know the fault President Kuruma, I know the fault President Bio. This not the politics is so known as alone. It not the benefit anybody. So this not the action, this way would they promote. So we will talk about they talk about the effects of politics on the institutions there. You talk about waiting now the uptake so far. The uptake so far, what they hear from within government and within opposition, to me is very promising. I don't hear some people they talk say, we need for use this material for do X, Y, and Z. And not only left here, we get for see how this material is being utilized. We know they claim say now we get sense, now we they provide all the solutions, all the ideas. No. What would they do? We just invest in small research, we package this information for floater for conversation. At the time when that bill they come for update, and Gladys John, where they actually read provisions of the bill, where they show say the bill self not get problem. It's largely human behavior, institutional behaviors and practices. So maybe we just need for be firm, for say we need for read the Riot Act, for say not to certain for B, no, so this institution, this is not what the law says. So I think say but to your question whether what has been the uptake, we just published this on Friday, and this is not the first conversation we will really get on this report. Are they monitor waiting, they come out online, the messages the way they come. A lot of Sierra Leoneans, they're really fired up. They're not fired up.
They have to be. I mean, I'm presenting, but the way I'm feeling right now, if I've been on the side of that panel later, perhaps, I don't know what would have happened to me tomorrow, but if I've been on the side of that panel, I would have said a lot of things, but I have to be very moderate and presenting. Because these things would make you angry. Knowing that you get the law always show you waiting for do, but then people can still not be held accountable by the law. You get in these institutions, we in a private sector, we see how private sector they run, waiting them they do for make sure say continue for stay running and continue for make profit. Then you get, I mean, these institutions where and enterprises where are government owned, and they pass it on for you, set them up and be established and create jobs, new opportunities, invest in new structures, provide services, but they're not happening. Rashid, I mean, let me say, I'm asking the question, so I don't get into trouble. But let's go back to
Gustav Kennedy said, "Let thy will be done." I don't think so. We get for reduce this to prayers. But the thing is, the way Salon Day, let's just give hope to people. It's very easy for law really bounce. It's really about how the political class they take decisions today. For say really, we'll say new direction. It's really about new direction. This nonsense get for stuff, and the whole end the video. We say, although SLPP get for take leadership, APC back. They can be opposition today, but they're in governance tomorrow. In fact, where are they watch the APC manifesto? These are some of the things that we are going to see inside the manifesto for say, now this and this we want for change. Unfortunately, you don't get that vibes there from the political class right now. So we only hope, say, this thing will really follow right through. We only hope, say, we'll be able to get commitment as to how then change that will be. And too often politicians will say, you know, after two weeks, this news they die out, they will jump by other things. Yes, if you hope for letting the news die out, the news go die out, but the institutions will remain the same. And if the institution remain the way they, what will happen? Now other people then go there in control of the nation. Because in state-owned enterprises, they are the true meaning of them. Now for let create wealth for Sierra Leoneans. Let telecoms create wealth for we. Let road transport create wealth for we. Not to for create wealth for a few, but not for create wealth for everyone.
Now, gentlemen, let's bring forward another document we know say political leaders they're aware. This was a document put together by the Ministry of Finance, and it was signed by the executive summary was signed by the then minister, Mr. Dennis Bandi, the Minister of Finance. Now, he mentioned say state-owned enterprises and they play a critical role in Sierra Leone's economy by undertaking commercial activities and executing public policy objectives, PPOs, but are inundated with challenges that contribute to their underperformance. So it shows clearly, gentlemen, that they are aware. It's not that they don't know.
They do.
They know, and therefore they put together a document where look at reassessing what we exist before. It says these challenges include number one, boards that comprise senior officials from 9 ministries, Ministry of Finance, and sector bodies, and lack the requisite skill set. Gentlemen, they know. These people, they know.
But that's why they are reviewing.
The danger that Salon is we can so careless with things that until we get total collapse, and they'll kind of say, well, why this midway? Honestly, I don't see how this situation really benefits anybody. First thing that this country, the postal service, they deliver mails in the riverine areas. Then swamp beside them, that Tumabom place, and they deliver postal services. You see on a Kaila, you order shoes from England, then Alambok shoes. The postal service, they bring camp. How this new environment they benefit them? Me not understand. Because you put somebody there, you get $10,000 per month. So now you think say they really we all the crash that I make. Like we ask, we actually craft this documentary on purpose, so that nobody no talk say, no, I don't get interest. We got for the opposition and government. We put them before them. It's about being in a position to say something can be done. If you're not interested, let's allow them. You say you're not interested. You let the status quo. But they therefore take position on this.
Now, on the second bit where they mentioned, Rashid, that might interest you under investment.
Right.
Says these are some of the. I mean, it give like five or six of them that we mentioned that these are the challenges where they plague them. But I'll mention them one by one under investment. It says now one panel where they plague. But every time they receive, then in our budget.
Come to one simple solution. You can actually pass a public debt management act where they make sure say for let parastatals take debt, they go through the highest level of scrutiny across the board, so that you the whole like use Sarah tell one part debt they get. At the time where all man they left CDMA technology for GSM. They're in the man they are they get the old technology, the one for dispose of them. They said, "Oh, we will sell you now for at a discount." All man don't catch you. They go take a CDMA, the debt left away. Now we don't use them. So by just having a process of scrutiny for public debt management, in fact, make I tell you something.
But it's sickening how everybody they think forward.
This government
and you don't continue to think to side and go back.
This government can start now. And talk say over the next 5 years, no external debt for any parastatal. You can actually turn SLPMC into a profit-making stock without take a public debt. If you call businessman them, say gentlemen.
And you come back to the privatization.
Say how can we do it? So you can just start for talk say under me, no more debt. Then I allow a parastatal for go negotiate debt to themselves no more, and then it left the government books now. We now we only share the debt. What now we don't pass tell that.
Rashid, before I mention the other thing, again, political interference, limited compensation for PPOs, lack of clarity and relating to the privatization of state-owned enterprises, oversight and governance, lack of clear rationale for government of salons, ownership of enterprises. These are all the things listed. All the things listed. So like I say again, it's clear. It's in front of the political leaders. They know it, Rashid.
To me, the one they separate for dilute and they all compromise. I think that's one big problem. They compromise. Because when you look at the appointment itself, the patronage itself, look appointing people that will not get the required skill and experience and expertise for business. You go appoint somebody for be a financial analyst when this particular person not even gets an ACCA accounting or probably not gets an accounting degree. It's really, really sad. So now this one all the lead me to which side will they so. But again, it's not all loss. If only then we can get the acts here so and then enforce them fully with the help of Parliament. I keep the repeat Parliament because Parliament now the oversight committee would they look after the organizations there. So if they're robust enough and they're not compromised, to be honest, a lot of
I don't know if I can ask
Go ahead, Charles. Go ahead.
Just ask him a rational question.
Yes.
It's possible for a businessman.
That's correct.
It's possible for the government consider a public-private partnership. They give you a mandate. Says, Rashid.
Yes.
I want to let you pull SLPMC.
Right.
From Musa Ide.
Yes.
Into the first three major cocoa exporter.
Yeah.
They say, Rashid.
Yes.
It's a performance contract. You have a stake. You have a stake in the performance.
I'll tell you exactly.
Would that be a viable?
In fact, I did some research on Delco. That's exactly what happened with Delco. Delco was a private-owned company. Based into this was a private-owned company. They run fully, effectively, efficiently, and profitably. Now, in government come, they take 51%. From the day when they take 51%, then they begin to run it down. Till it close 7-8 years down the line. You see, I go only ready for partner with government, provided no political interference. If I'm not getting political interference, then yes, I'm ready to do it. Like again, with the assets what they use now, now SLPMB assets. But what I did, I list it. I list the asset completely. Nope. They're not getting nothing for doing them. You see, and I developed the asset itself, and now they're going to profitably. You see, with that, yes, it can be done.
So So Charles, he's right.
Yes.
One part of the problem they will be mentioned in this document is
Yes.
political interference.
Mhm.
So if he's giving, like we ask, and if he's giving the mandate, one part in the way you will put before them and let the leaders know, it's listen, don't interfere. Let me run this. I'm a businessman.
Yeah.
If I not bring you profit, you can judge me on the profit when I bring come back to you as far as this is concerned. But Andrew, one part the other thing that will be mentioned there, it's sickening. And lack of compliance with financial reporting requirements.
They don't do it.
No,
Well, as
It's about private sector. Yeah.
when you see people in the FED, their audit report, now it's about financial compliance. And if you know,
Yes.
no, Rashid, Rashid, no.
And then they debate the auditor's general report 2 years late.
Yeah.
So then they discuss 2022. Then we don't actually deal with them 2019. How does that? How relevant is that? So you see, these are small people in one.
So you know it's in, you know, then thing I work in it normally talk about or talk say, no, let politicians they declare their assets. They say no, they're on a governance stock no more. I think so we self will not be able to really bring this in proper context. All the talks say declare your asset, publish your assets. Do you really now this it really mean? Because you watch, there's a lot of literature where they say the states now they normally give wealth to individuals. In fact, there's a lot of studies where they look Southeast Asia, Africa. Most wealthy families there. Now the state now actually envelope wealth and give them. So inside Salo, you see say the one the way they buy the government assets, and too often so they generally be Leoneans. And the one the way they sell the government assets, now it can be that the wealthy class. The rest the poor. So then I make it say Salon will not even get middle class.
No.
We get a big poor class. So either you dey up, una few, una 1%, or you poor. So watching this thing they talk about, they try for talk say let we actually think about how do you create wealth and share that wealth for boko other people. Them thing that we be talk about, waiting the act they talk about. The act they talk about create wealth, create profit, create jobs, create services. Now that they mean. But the moment you talk say, I they keep this and sell. What they sell, I they get from myself. And that person so we don't get a situation who say.
But they never sell.
They don't sell. They lease the assets. They lease the assets.
But to me, I think the way forward, I think they will look at a way how they will privatize them there. Because when you privatize them, now the private sector will come and buy them and run them efficiently.
But Rashid,
Yes.
I don't know if,
Go ahead.
John will go na the modes of privatization.
That's correct.
Not to one option then give.
Yes.
The only thing way that they were fixed about your obligation to provide jobs, your obligation to create new
wealth.
investment, your obligation to raise the
Profit,
value of
yes.
I don't know what they say.
Yeah.
So how you do them? Whether through PPP, whether a management contract, whether an outright sale, whichever way you do them,
In the best interest of
that
the
outcome.
because-
So no, let me talk say.
Okay.
Let me not impose on government to say that just one idea a day. You know, they get plenty ways them we will meet that objective of creating jobs, of creating profitability, creating the value of our exports. Me I like private sector. Me a capitalist. You know, so I'm all for it. But let this debate here continue. Then people will look at certain situations and say, you know what, for this particular institution, now the way this for go. For this particular institution, now the way this for go. Let me say, look the Chamber of Commerce. Imagine if there is would have been done for them by this debate way back. Now, una be for them benefit from participation
and drive the agenda.
One year the way Ghana been get under Kufo, where the guy by independence speech where he say it's all for create a wealth owning citizenship, economic citizenship. But yeah, the wealth owning na bureaucrats say.
Absolutely.
And la value they say South Korea, past 6 families will build South Korea. In fact, they get where they call them. They get concessional loans from the government after this Korean Peninsula War. They get concession, the concession facilities to them. Hyundai Samsung.
Yeah.
These are all family-owned businesses. Would
Yes,
be
good.
Korea like how it is.
Yes.
But yeah, the bureaucrats they don't hold on to the stuff. Now they forget the money.
Interesting.
And then the Allman pool. I dey go Abidjan. I don't want to see NGO to Abidjan. One day I don't see NGO to Abidjan. Yeah, watch your private school. You see what kind of way to run the good. SOS, World Vision, and this. What kind of society is that?
He's opening another.
No, but this is because they restrict the economic space.
Yeah.
You know, so we're not able to participate.
Yeah.
You know, just like how Rashid be saying, the private sector and the public sector and performance, now for provide anchor for people and for easily invest.
That's right.
We don't can dig new borehole again, we don't can provide new lights again.
Exactly.
Hey, we don't collect new garbage again. I get more serious thing for do.
Yeah.
I want produce an export, but we don't wait for producer.
All right, let's take some comments. We don't come from viewers all across the globe. Very interesting. It has been this evening. Sally Future on camera already with the comments so far from Facebook. What are viewers saying, Sally Fu?
All right, thank you so much, John Conte. The first message we would take now from Eddie Grant. He say corruption, mismanagement, and bad governance has engulfed all those states' institutions. The heads of those institutions always go unpunished. And the other message from Lamin Sobe, he says state-owned enterprises and parastatals have long been a burden to Sierra Leone's economy. These entities, in many cases, suffer from mismanagement, corruption, and lack of accountability. Their insufficiency and unproductive operations drain the country's resources and hinder economic growth. Moreover, they often crowd out private sector development and discourage foreign investments. To drive sustainable economic development, Sierra Leone needs to address the challenges posed by these entities and pursue privatization or reforms to make them more efficient and competitive. And Joseph Bobo Fode, they say, very disappointing for our nation. Corruption has destroyed our public enterprise, namely but few, Sierra-Tel. And Jeremiah James, monopoly is what developing nations should avoid for them to grow. If Sierra Leone want to grow, they should allow competition among the private sector. Imagine 8 million Sierra Leoneans, only one company have the right to import rice, TVS bikes, and keke, even DSTV. We should allow other key players that may want to contribute to the nation's growth. And Abdul Sultan Latif Kagbo is saying, I said it and I will say it again and again. Any capital city in the world where people use 5 gallons to fetch water is doomed. Sad country, Sierra Leone. Michael Coker, majority of our people are corrupt, and it is a learned behavior. Whole family is corrupt, and that is passed on to generations. Corruption is even glorified. Sad. And Abdul Sultan Latif Kagbo again, it's time for us to stand up for our country. If not that, we will continue to explain and explain till the end of time. Abubakar Rashid, the problem with us is that we do not have leaders with vision and foresight. If we take Singapore as a test case, it is because of the leader they had that brought a change for them to become one of the Asian tigers. Here, most of the appointments comes from the politicians, and those appointments are only answerable to their presidents. So most parastatals fail because of this. So in my opinion, if they want these parastatals and public enterprises to perform, is that the politicians and political leaders should base these appointments on merit that will help to improve on our performance. And Haji Ba, Bravo IGR and partners for such a vivid documentary. Until state actors rethink properly, our service delivery will always fail. And Swissman is saying, all of our manufacturing companies have closed because of corruption. Very soon, our central bank will close. I remember when the former bank governor denounced that money have been missing in the bank since the time of the pronouncement of that former bank governor until today. No investigation have been put in place to know why the new currency is missing. At the end, the former bank governor was forced to leave, retirement. Ha ha ha, he laughed. Abdul Sultan Latif Kabo. So that's why I said it's time for change. Enough is enough. We can't continue to suffer under these so-called politicians. We, the people of Sierra Leone, are suffering from inflation, dollarization, transportation, health, clean water, electricity, etc., etc. And John Michael Pulum Jr. is saying, corruption is the key element. We don't have any other explanation. Government in, government out. The system is still corrupt, especially the state institutions. Abubakar Rashid, we should critically ask why the state lottery and Sierratel were doing well. At one time, Sierratel was the leading telecommunication company, but where did they go wrong? And the last message is from Stephen Nyale. He says, we the citizens get problem. We should change our mindset. See some of the staff employed at the new airport. They are still harassing and begging passengers. We are wicked to ourselves in Africa. So these were the messages, and back to you, John Conte, in the studio.
All right, thank you very much, Salifu. Gentlemen, straightforward comments there. It still makes you feel very sick, because I mean, when all them comment there, so they come from all the one the way they watch and you actually they tell say we want to move on from Usari Day. So I want the comment they mentioned Nandi. So let's talk about moving forward. What can we do, Charles? Moving forward.
Two takeaways that I get from the comments, and the one that the consensus we say we need for move from this situation. I think that they come from all the contributors there.
Yeah.
And one day we I think Abdul Latif Kabo, we talk about visionary leadership. Something in the now visionary leadership, not to plenty elaborate program, economic development plan. This not to plenty things. Where you sell your vision, it cascade into different institutions and the behavior of citizens. Just one expression of statement of vision. If the government just decides to say, they're in the opposition, say, you know what, this situation in the end, then we can take it from that point, say, and begin to solve the problem. The point is, until we come with, yes, you cite a few documents from the Ministry of Finance where they lament the situation with state-owned enterprises. But we don't depend this for 20 years. This is not a rocket science. This is not a rocket science for run companies and profitably or for privatize them. If that's not rocket science, I don't think say young grant because in generation get for development as alone. No, not a rocket science, Andy. In 2 decades, you see how they change Rwanda. You see how Rollins lay the platform for Ghana in transformation. Let we start with the potential where state-owned enterprises can get, where you say, today, will they stop the rot? You know what I mean? The one way you appoint the board, you get implication. The one that will not report financially, you get implication. So all elaborating, allow make this agenda, allow make this, that. Country where they articulate them, where Mandela say rainbow nation, he expressed a vision of the country. where rights are protected, where discrimination, the people anyway don't take decisions in difficult circumstances. Me, I always like to bring up historical perspective for sure how people take difficult decisions. Where John, just this last statement, where the war ends Algeria against France, the nationalism it did fervently. Now somebody begin argue say, in fact, we ban the French language, we change the language of education na France. Now the leader the lead for fetch France. I say, we don't come too far with the French language. He say, for coming teach medicine again by Arabic. He say, it's about Arabic in our culture. We don't go vex now. He say the investment what they make for begin teach mechanical engineering per Arabic. He say, too much. Yes, they don't want to. We stay with French. Arabic don't mean nothing. So you got for even when you are discomforted, that vision you got forget and say, as you say, this rot, it is stop. It gets trickle down effect by all time. So that's my own point.
Andrew, I go through again. I go through these documents similarly, and it still show you the one that we don't be, privatized, and the entity that will still remain in the long list. Could it be one of the things that perhaps President would say to NCP that, listen, I want this fully done without questions. Every one of the institutions that were listed for privatization, get them fully done. Only come back to me after the process is done and they're fully privatized. Like Charles said, we deal with the rot, and that's the last fund you would ever receive as far as subvention and budgetary assistance is concerned from government.
I think Charles is right. Where you watch Botswana, seriously scammer. For Botswana discovered diamonds 30 years after Sierra Leone discovered diamonds. Charles talked about the rhetoric of leaders. Waiting leaders and they talk, it go a long way for shape how society is changing or it stagnates. We come and find diamonds. Now say Holland. He said, this is all what we have. He said, let's handle it with care. In fact, then refence the diamond. They talk, say, part of the diamond profits, they go into education and they go into health. In fact, per capita education in Botswana now the highest in Africa because of diamond resources. 30 years after Sierra Leone. So yes, I take your point. If we talk, say, if the leader talk, say, now this don't left now law privatize, and I take Charles' points about the options for privatization. We need for debate. You get some people who will talk, say, law go for full-fledged privatization. Again, pluses and minuses. So people talk, say, no, the state really get for playing role. We still get in pluses and minuses, but we get for taking business by business. We look at that. And are they external actors from the private sector, from NGOs, from government, who actually can talk, say, let we decide on this. So the one then, the audience, the way we don't talk, I take their points. We'll not do this documentary for let we exhaust them with bad things the way they happen in our country. We do this documentary for let we bring them here to a fall and talk to as a nation law determine them here. But it takes leadership for let you solve them. So I talk say, but the good thing is there seems to be an acknowledgement of the problem. For let somebody talk say, well, they can't review the act. But not to what you will talk about, not to for tinker with the edges. We'll say review, we actually need whole scale conversation. Say then I know they go right. What you get for heads get for role for goodness sake. Something get for happen. So yes, and I go back to Ibrahim to me in point where you talk say set target, set results. But when somebody talk say we get for stop the rot, it's a big statement. But for stopping that rot today, you get for programmatize them. You get for what do you mean? What it mean in terms of program? How they set targets? Right now, sir, they I need for no say EDSA now they target this. Because the cost of 1 megawatt of hydro-generated electricity, it's $6 to $10 cents. Right now they pay $24 cents. And we don't spend $985 million. In fact, we are still counting. That money they will calculate, not all the money down there, because even the duty-free that they get for import and fuel will not count up. So it's over $1 billion. We do for let it make 2-3 big hydro dams for Sierra Leone. And Bakar suggests, he said this is enough for no get young car powership.
Yes, for sure.
So it means you get for programmatize that statement we talk say we get for stop the rot, and you get for stop impunity.
Yeah.
For stop impunity, we say this one, it doesn't matter when I take megaphone for me. I'm not talking say no appoint them. You have to appoint people who supported you, because it's people in the campaign because they believe in the vision. Appoint them.
Yeah.
But if somebody 2 years, 3 years, and I see somebody just the way they talk say, people know what is happening, but nobody's taking action. But leadership get for demonstrate say we are ready to stop impunity. You see, and some of them they mean say the next budget, this budget, how CEO could turn up with zero profit, being in the red for years,
and still remain as
it
CEO.
still not only remain, they pack the money where you get me say it do. Now they say if you don't do more, say you get for add more. So when they say you get for stop, now that they mean new direction, it mean you are not they pay you again. And I believe say from this angle what they see inside online, now that across SLPP APC lines, now that action they need now.
Rashid,
yes.
What do we do going forward?
I hear, to be honest, I gave my heart to now. I think when you don't start the debates, you will sense the frustration and the anger from the public. It hurts really, as I've been actually say, I don't know. Again, if we continue with business as usual, to me, I'm sure what I want for let me look at full-fledged for the private sector. I know what they say. When I went to England just 24 years ago, you can get like a British Telecom, you can get a British Rail, Thames Waters, all them companies there, so were state-owned, but they were run down at the time, become a burden to the states. And what did Margaret Thatcher did? She went full-fledged privatization. So them companies, and then they run efficiently, and then they pay huge taxes to revenue to government. And not only that, they employ people and then they create wealth. You see, because if you look at, okay, we start for set performance. Again, even with the ministers there, how many performances they would say, how many people have actually been sacked because they don't perform? There's something so unique about Sierra Leone. It's a difficult society. I don't know where we actually went from. Now we come back again as Charles will talk about leadership. Leadership, it's key. You can lead with the vision. Tell me what you want for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years down the line, and follow that path through. Anybody will come follow that path, and that is leading with a vision. Let we lead by example, because if you want to do things and let everybody be the leader and do the right thing, and everybody will. You lead without bias. If you begin this way, go get this particular job, this or get this particular person and be supported, this and be supported, then you got a problem. Because I know say there are some institutions them who been get good people, but because they are perceived as supporting, they pull them. At both parties, you see, and bring them rotten people, them will not even know what in the institution stand for. You see, I'm getting problems in there. Of course, it can lead in with integrity. If we lead with integrity, you will see how we go able to solve most of them problems. But again, then we follow models. Look at Dubai today. These people rely on oil, but today, then GDP itself is on tourism. 65% of them, the revenue they come from, it's because they were able to diversify their economy. But again, you see, most of them institutions wouldn't get there. They are state-owned, but then they run effectively, then they run efficiently, then they run profitably. And then they create wealth and they create the employment which is required. Then now they go and bigger. How long could we continue whenever something come up, they look around for partners, development partners, then get all them crap names in for them. Again, what I can actually do lectures, I can always tell people, if you get a lion, you put him in a cage for 20, 30 years, if you pull him and left him for make it go in a bush for, you're not going to even catch a mouse. And that is exactly the situation we don't find ourselves. We own state institutions, we never run them. We're not able for benefit from we own natural resources. All the time we did going bigger. But the one they say for the big, when they see the way how they run institutions, and to be honest, then they sick to the stomach. You know, to me, I think we need to begin to look at privatization, because if you look at the ports, when I came to this country 10 years ago, when we can go to the port authority for go get one container, you take 10 days. Then they privatize them. To be honest, today, within 48 hours, we get money, they put up. You see, I think that's the way forward.
So a lot has been said tonight. A lot still there for be said about what need for be done for ensure say that state-owned enterprises and parastatals not become this burden on government. Now, along the line we talk about a national agenda, then other countries then get, they don't go, they don't develop. But I should mention British Telecoms.
Yeah.
He mentioned few other, you know, he mentioned Dubai as well. The United Arab Emirates, they get a system where fit them. But then leaders say, I want to make me country, I want to make this region become.
My vision, as you say. My vision.
Yes, I want to make this region become the region where go become the hub for everybody in the world for visit. By 2021, 2022, they don't get over 60% of travelers across the world don't go to the hub. Every single person you know they look for because why then set up a vision? Like I say again, it might be say then get a system where they fit them. We from time to time you have political leadership that would change. You get somebody mentioned Seattle as being one of the best. They were the only. The only.
There's nothing to compare with.
There was really no need for compare with. They were the only. We had to go down to Sled, go sleep, wait for call. You get now the only one where we get fixed line telecommunication, fixed line, you know, telephony. And then because the new arrive, it seemed like they're not able to cope with the new and therefore remain in the old and seem like it's still the $50 million debt. So a lot of conversations still need to go on around this entire tragedies of politics. How it don't affect parastatals, how it don't affect state-owned enterprises, politics, the patronage of it. How because if the person not support you, or like Andrew say, in all megaphone behind you, or they on top the high locks for you during campaign, even if you qualify for occupy the parastatal or the state-owned agency, you not go give them the position because you know where you call her, you know, Allah you name. Again, CEOs get called to report and it takes you not make profit for 10 years consecutively, but you still they give them funds. You are enabling the person. And say go do the same foolish thing we they do and come back. It will continue to be a burden on you. You get for appoint people away now, one day turn 2 to 4. Like with people, and you don't know what in business mean, how for runner, what it mean for make profit by any business. And you think, say, if you appoint a state-owned enterprise because it belongs to the same political party, will give you the result. What did they bring country in a table where they report? Parliament mentioned what in the whole supposed to be by holding them people there to account. Like I said, I'm asking the questions. If I was on the other side, I would have said a lot of things. But thank you very much, gentlemen, for coming. This is AYB on Sunday, and we will continue for bring debates and contribute to conversation like the wire. So, thanks to Charles for your input as well. Thank you very much, Andrew from IGR. Thank you very much, Rashid, as well. We've enjoyed the conversation tonight. Let me continue the conversation wherever you are. Make the comment, make the contribution. Andrew say the revision of the act is going on. They look at waiting for be done, whose input. Let them open it up to people so we can make more comments and contribution. And I've mentioned some of it. It is not that it not exist, it exists, but let's strengthen and make it work. Many thanks to you for watching and listening to AYB on Sunday. The repeat of this program comes up on Thursday at 10 p.m. Be sure to catch a fresh edition next Sunday. Up next will be AYB Primetime News at 9 p.m. And I, John Conte, wish you all the very best and have a great week. Bye-bye. President Leo in his second term has reposed confidence in many young people to mantle critical governance positions of trust.
We all roll back and make sure say we connect citizens and the government.
All in favor?
Just went platform for news. every day now we country, hello.